to the criminal case against Sean Diddy Combs. He says prosecutors violated his rights after they accused him of contacting potential witnesses in his upcoming trial. A new hearing is set to take place this afternoon.
ABC News senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky here tracking the case. Aaron, always appreciate your perspective when you're over here.
Sure.
I want to ask you this. What are the Combs attorneys hoping to accomplish? What's their argument? Because they describe it, I want to get this right, outrageous government conduct. What are their allegations?
Their allegations are that federal prosecutors violated Diddy's constitutional rights when they started leafing through his handwritten jailhouse notes. They were swept up in a pre-planned raid by a number of federal agencies to rout out contraband at MDC Brooklyn. And so prosecutors had some access to a notebook and an address book, and prosecutors used that evidence to claim that Diddy has been under these relentless efforts to try and obstruct his criminal case.
An effort to keep him in jail.
Well, sure, because his defense attorneys are trying again this week for the third time now to get him released on bail. And prosecutors say if he can contact witnesses and if he can make phone calls to people he's not supposed to be calling, and if he can orchestrate social media campaigns to influence public opinion from behind bars, what would he do if he were on house arrest?
All right. So, you know, few of us know as much as you do about it. Like, I know I was just been watching the Netflix thing, the Menendez case, and something found in their cell room in a sweep, you know, led to, action in the court. Now, the court has scheduled a hearing on these accusations. What do we think is going to come out of that?
Well, the defense is arguing, Sam, that when prosecutors swept up the notes, it's possible they could have seen things Diddy wrote about his trial strategy or about his conversations with lawyers. Federal prosecutors said they sent the notes through what they call a filter team to weed out anything that might be considered part of the attorney-client privilege. The defense is not convinced, and the judge agreed to hold a hearing. So we'll see if he thinks what the feds did here was proper.
So wait, just perspective here, because you mentioned something about social media. You know, I saw it on my feed, that post with his children and him on speaker. Are you not allowed to do that?
That's the one federal prosecutors are taking aim at. They say that Diddy arranged that and had his kids do this, recruited his family, and you heard his voice from behind bars, which typically you don't when someone's in federal custody. And prosecutors said that was just meant to influence us and the potential jury pool. After that video posted, Shirley, federal prosecutors said they know that Combs was able to monitor audience engagement. He looked at the analytics of how that video performed online to see if it had the desired effect.
Sam mentioned the Menendez case, but how common or how unique is it that this would become a focal point of the case at this point, a jailhouse search of potential documents or thoughts that could be used in trial strategy?
We don't hear about it very often, but the Bureau of Prisons had this raid conducted. You know some of the problems at MDC Brooklyn. It's not a great place. So they've been trying different efforts to get rid of contraband, things that inmates are not supposed to have. And so they sent in a bunch of different agencies, and agents from all over the country swept through MDC over a week or so. When they went to Diddy's bunk, they saw that he had a manila folder marked legal that they kind of patted down to make sure it didn't have anything untoward in it. Then they set that aside. They saw a notebook, an address book, and then a bunch of personal effects. And they took pictures of the notebook and the address book, and that's what prosecutors used to say, look, there's evidence that he's trying to obstruct these proceedings.
Well, we'll see how it plays out
Great
today.
stuff, Aaron.
All right, Aaron Katursky, ABC News senior investigative correspondent. Again, always